And new water tariffs for non-domestic users from August 1st. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has called on the people to be tolerant and sincere to avoid unnecessary disputes so as to take the country to greater heights. The Prime Minister also urged the Keluarga Malaysia to maintain harmony and unity by practicing the concept of tasamuh or tolerance as demanded in Islam and a trait that is universal.
Semangat tasamuh ini telah dianjurkan oleh Rasulullah SAW semasa membangunkan kota suci Madinah, di mana golongan Ansar dan Muhajirin menzahirkan sifat toleransi yang melahirkan masyarakat berkasih sayang.
The Prime Minister said this in his message in conjunction with the Ma'al Hijrah celebration themed Keluarga Malaysia Catalyst for Prosperity, which was broadcast on local television stations on Friday night. He added that Malaysia has also successfully entered the transition to endemic phase after 2 years of battling both health and economic issues as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic with a spirit of togetherness. He also said the main focus now is to jointly catalyse health and economic prosperity for the sake of all Malaysians. Meanwhile, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has decreed that people should never belittle, insult or ridicule the religions in the name of freedom of expression. The king also said that the sanctity of all religions must be preserved and respected at all times.
Agama bukanlah merupakan satu perkara untuk berkurang senda dan dijadikan bahan jenaka. Betul khawatir perbuatan sedemikian bakal menyemarakkan api perkauman dan meruntuhkan ikatan perpaduan antara semua kaum yang telah kita bina sejak sekian lama.
Al-Sultan Abdullah said this in his royal address in conjunction with the national-level Ma'al Hijrah celebration and the recitation of Yasin in conjunction with Warriors' Day at the Federal Territory Mosque in Kuala Lumpur on Friday night. The king also said he wanted the historical Hijrah event to be made as the basis to preserving racial unity and prosperity in Malaysia, as well as pointing out that Hijrah in today's world demands the transformation of the mind to form a culture based on morality and ethics. Also present at the event were Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Hajah Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and Cabinet Ministers. The government will review the standard chicken retail ceiling price after its implementation in Peninsular Malaysia ends on August 31st. Agriculture and Food Industry Minister Datuk Seri Ronald Kiandi on Friday said the government will also look into the approval to export whole chicken during the review. According to Datuk Seri Ronald, there is still another month for the government to monitor developments in the poultry industry. It will then conduct the review to decide whether to maintain the subsidy for chicken or allow chicken prices to float according to market forces. Datuk Seri Ronald also said that the government is aware that there are some who are selling standard chicken lower than the set ceiling price. He added, although the government set price controls, it also compensates by giving subsidies to farmers of RM1.20 per kilogram, and the move has stabilised the supply of chicken and its prices in the market. Previously, the government had capped the retail price of standard chicken at RM9.40 per kilogram in Peninsular Malaysia from July 1st to August 31st. And also agreed to fix the retail ceiling price of Grade A chicken eggs at 45 cents each, Grade B eggs at 43 cents each, and Grade C eggs at 41 cents each in Peninsular Malaysia, also effective July 1st. Effective August 1st, Pengurusan Air Selangor Sendirian Berhad will raise new water tariffs at a rate of 20 cents per cubic metre for the categories of non-domestic users, houses of worship and ships. Selangor Infrastructure and Public Utilities Modernisation of Agriculture and Agro-Based Industry Committee Chairman Isham Hashim said the average increase was still considered low and did not involve domestic users. For non-domestic use, including commercial and industrial, the increase is from RM2.07 to RM2.62. For use exceeding 35 cubic meters, the increase will be from 2 ringgit 86 cent to 2 ringgit and 28 cent. Meanwhile, for houses of worship, the calculation using the pro rate of 46 cent rises to 58 cent for each cubic meter. While for the ships category, every cubic meter will rise from 4 ringgit 23 cent to 7 ringgit. Isham said the new water tariff adjustment will help Air Selangor in terms of high capital expenditure to ensure the continued operation of the company. He said at present, Air Selangor bears the expenses of the high capex between 30 million ringgit for 30 years. It also bears the pipe replacement costs of around 150 million ringgit annually, which doesn't include other operational costs, adding that the annual electricity bill alone involves 300 million ringgit, while chemicals to treat water cost around 80 to 100 million ringgit yearly. He said the adjustment will also help Air Selangor with the state government's plans to build new water treatment plants and pipe replacements and outdated equipment. The Social Security Organisation, SOCSO, will conduct strict vetting and regular checks on employers involved in the Employment Recruitment Incentive Program Penjana Kerjaya. Its Chief Executive Officer, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Azman Aziz Muhammad, on Friday said the move is to ensure there is no further misappropriation of the Penjana Kerjaya funds involving employers. Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Azman denied that SOCSO did not monitor the claim process, adding that some of the employers might have used certain ways to manipulate the documents to make it look genuine. He also stressed that the agency will not compromise on the matter, assuring that any irregularity could be detected based on internal intelligence gathering, and all information would then be channeled to the authorities for further action. It was reported previously that SOCSO had suspended the payments for Penjana Kerjaya amounting to 423 million ringgit following misappropriation and false claims involving employers and training providers. To date, over 40 individuals have been arrested by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC to facilitate investigations into the false claims and misappropriation involving 100 million ringgit of Penjana Kerjaya funds. Even ministers are not exempted from being used by scammers. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, found out the hard way after his mobile number was used by scammers to dupe the public. In a posting on his Facebook page, he said he discovered the ruse when his acquaintances contacted him to confirm a message they received through the Telegram application on Friday. The minister also cautioned those who had received a message from his number bearing his picture to ignore or block it and report the matter to the application developer. Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi revealed that one of his contacts in the Santubong parliamentary constituency had been tricked and had already transferred 5,000 ringgit to the scammer's account. He added that his private secretary, Rudi Afandi, has lodged a police report with the police and the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, so that action can be taken against the culprit. Datuk Seri Najib Razak's final bid to set aside his conviction and sentence in the 42 million ringgit SRC international corruption case will proceed next month at the Federal Court as fixed earlier. This after the Apex Court rejected the former Prime Minister's application to postpone the hearing of his appeal, which had been set from August 15th to 26th. The matter was confirmed by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Ashraf Adrin Kamarul after an online case management on Friday. The application on the postponement of the hearing was made by Datuk Seri Najib's new defence team, Messrs. Zaid Ibrahim Suflan, TH Liu and Partners, ZIST, as they needed more time to prepare for the submissions and arguments before the Federal Court. However, the court said such matters should be handled between the previous counsel and Datuk Seri Najib's new defence team before ordering the hearing dates to be maintained. The court also ordered for the former UMNO president's application to adduce fresh evidence in his defence to be heard on the same day, on August 15th, together with his main appeal. The motion for fresh evidence refers to Datuk Seri Najib's application on June 7th to adduce further evidence to the Federal Court to nullify the entire trial over a claim that the trial judge, Datuk Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali, was affected by conflict of interest. It was previously reported that the Pekan Member of Parliament had appointed ZIST, which included senior lawyer Hisham Tehpotek as his lead counsel, to handle his final bid to overturn the SRC international conviction after dropping his longtime counsel, Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah. In 2020, Datuk Muhammad Azlan had sentenced Datuk Sri Najib to 12 years jail and 210 million ringgit fine after he was convicted of all 7 charges of power abuse, criminal breach of trust and money laundering involving 42 million ringgit of SRC international funds. Since then, Datuk Sri Najib has lost in his attempts to overturn the conviction and sentence at the Court of Appeal, as well as to introduce fresh evidence and appoint a Queen's Counsel to represent him. The total population of Malaysia this year is estimated at 32.7 million, with a 100,000 increase from 32.6 million in 2021, with an annual population growth rate of 0.2%. Department of Statistics Malaysia Chief Statistician Datuk Sri Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the country is also facing a declining population growth rate due to the lower number of non-citizens from 2.6 million in 2021 to 2.4 million in 2022. In a statement, Datuk Sri Muhammad Uzair said this is in line with the restriction on international travel by countries during the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic worldwide in 2020 and 2021. With the release of the current Population Estimates 2022 report, he said the citizens' population increased from 30 million in 2021 to 30.2 million in 2022, with the growth rate decreasing from 0.8% to 0.7% over the same period. He added that the slower population growth trend also occurred in other countries such as Singapore, Australia, the United Kingdom, Japan and New Zealand due to the decrease in total fertility rate and international net migration, as well as an increase in the number of deaths due to aging. As for population by sex, the department found that males outnumbered females this year. In 2022, the male population exceeds the female population at 17 million and 15.7 million respectively. The gender ratio for overall population is 109 males for every 100 females. For the period 2021-2022, the gender ratio for citizens remains at 103 and non-citizens 227 males for every 100 females respectively. Datuk Sri Muhammad Uzair said the higher ratio of males is attributed to the higher number of males for non-citizens. He also noted, on average, Malaysia has a population density of 99 people per square kilometre. Kuala Lumpur has the highest population density with 8,045 people per square kilometre, followed by Putrajaya with 2,418 people and Pulau Pinang with 1,656 people per square kilometre. Russia and Ukraine trade blames over prison blast. News from the foreign front when we return. Foreign news. In Ukraine, dozens of Ukrainian prisoners of war appear to have been killed in a missile strike on Friday, with Moscow and Kiev accusing each other of carrying out the attack. According to Russia's defense ministry, at least 40 prisoners were killed, while 75 others were wounded in the attack on the prison in Donetsk province held by separatists. Moscow has accused Kyiv of targeting it with US-made HIMARS rockets. Ukraine's armed forces, however, denied carrying out the strike and blamed it on Russian forces, saying Russian artillery had targeted the prison. It was said that Russia made the accusation to hide the torture of prisoners and executions. Separately, Ukraine said at least 5 people had been killed and 7 wounded in a Russian missile strike on the southeastern city of Mykolaiv as Russia fired across front lines in eastern and southern Ukraine. Russia, which denies targeting civilians, did not immediately comment on the situation. Over in the U.S., at least 8 people were killed in widespread flooding in eastern Kentucky following heavy rains overnight. Officials expected the death toll to reach double digits as water continued to rise. The governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, said he had asked U.S. President Joe Biden for federal assistance as it is the most devastating flooding event in Kentucky's history. He added that the state has activated the National Guard and the state police to use helicopters and boats in order to rescue people marooned among the floodwaters. Evacuation centers were opened in state parks and other facilities, but the governor warned that some of the facilities themselves were hard hit by the storms and may not have power or some amenities. The National Weather Service, in the meantime, stated that there was an 80% chance that the hard-hit area in Appalachia would continue to see heavy rain and storms on Friday. Coming up after this break, actions from the Commonwealth. Mixed team got off to a rousing start in their Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games campaign as they demolished Zambia 5-0 in the opening Group D fixture. It was a stroll in the park for all Malaysian shuttlers in the match against the African country held at the National Exhibition Centre. Professional mixed doubles pair Tan Kian Meng, Lai Pei Jing handed Malaysia's first point following a straight set victory over Kalombo Mulenga Ogar Siamu Pangila in 21-6, 21-3. while national top men's singles shuttler Se-yong contributed Malaysia's second point after he thumped Chongo Mulenga 21-8, 21-8. Independent women's singles player Goh Jin Wei hardly raised a sweat as a series of unforced errors by Elizabeth Chipaleme helped the Penangite to score Malaysia's third and winning point in 21-1, 21-2. With 2 more games left to play, both national top pairs, men's doubles duo Aaron Chia, Soh Wei Yik and Pearly Tan M. Tina did not have a problem to earn 2 more points for Malaysia. Aaron Wei Yik swept past Chongo Mulenga, Colombo Mulenga 21-13, 21-9, while Pearly Tina routed Elizabeth Chipaleme Ogad Siamu Pangila 21-3, 21-5. Malaysia, which last won the gold in Glasgow 2014, will have a great opportunity to book their quarterfinals spot early as they will take on Jamaica at 7 p.m. local time. Earlier, the 2022 Commonwealth Games was officially declared open after a grand opening ceremony was held at the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham on Thursday. The opening ceremony, which explored the DNA of Birmingham and West Midlands, enjoyed the golden touches of Martin Reed, who earned an international reputation as head of ceremonies for London 2012 Olympic Games, and Stephen Knight, the creator and writer of one of the most famous television series, Peaky Blinders. Featuring the city's rich and diverse history, the vibrant show was divided into a few scenes, all crammed into 2.5 hours of a magical evening. The athletes and officials then marched into the stadium to thunderous applause and rousing cheers, with Australia the first to enter the stadium, while Malaysia were the 42nd team to do so. The Malaysian contingent, with women squash player Aifa Azman and powerlifting ace Bonnie Bunyagustin as flag bearers, led the way as 38 other athletes and officials, including Chef de Mission Datuk Shahrul Zaman Yahya and his deputy Gerard Montero, followed suit. About 6,500 athletes from 72 countries and territories will take part in the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, which will run until August 8th. On to tennis. Second seed John Isner edged out wildcard Ben Shelton 7-6, 8-4-6, 7-6-3 to move into the last 8 of the Atlanta Open at the Atlantic Stadion on Friday night. Isner remains on course to win a 7th Atlanta Open title, but he had to come through an incredibly tight battle against fellow American Ben Shelton on Thursday in round 2. There were just 4 breakpoints in the entire match. Isner faced the first at 5-6 in the opening set, but the number 2 seed managed to save it and then shaded the subsequent tiebreak by 10 points to 8. Isner faced another in the opening game of the second set. This time Shelton took his chance, saved 2 breakpoints on his own serve in the next game and served out to take the match to a decider. The serve continued to dominate and a second tiebreak ensued. Shelton gained the early advantage, but Isner turned it around and completed his victory in 2 hours and 27 minutes. He will then face another US player, Jensen Brooksby, in the quarterfinals. In another match, Alex de Minaur won the Battle of the Australians at the Atlanta Open. This after the third seed overcame compatriot James Duckworth in straight sets 6-4, 6-4 to reach the quarterfinals of the ATP 250 event. During the competitive match, de Minaur simply created more chances for himself with 5 breakpoint opportunities, while Duckworth had 2. De Minaur will next play France's Adrian Manarino in the last 8 after he defeated American Andres Martin 7-5, 6-3. After the short break, man claims trial to kicking wife in face. Stay tuned.
informasi. Terima kasih memilih kami
di Buletin Pagi. Saya Nasabas.
Bermula 2 Julai, Isnin hingga Ahad, Buletin Pagi bersiaran setiap hari jam 9 pagi.
Welcome back. Over in Selangor, police arrested 13 men, including a foreigner, in connection with a number of property and vehicle theft cases. South Klang OCPD Assistant Commissioner Cha Hung Fong said police launched a district-wide clampdown on theft after noticing that property theft cases were the main contributor to index crimes in the area, with 553 cases out of the 714 overall index crime cases. He said in order to curb the crimes, police launched a special operation dubbed Ops Lejang Khas, which involved all South Klang police led by a senior CID police officer. The team was responsible to find information, track down and arrest suspects. He said in the first 3 weeks of the operation, which began on July 1st, a total of 12 Malaysians and 1 foreign man aged between 22 and 43 were arrested. The suspects had records for cases including causing hurt, theft, vehicle theft, house break-ins and drug offences. Police also seized 6 motorcycles, 3 cars, a pickup truck, 4 motorcycle engines and a motorcycle frame. ACP Cha said as a result of the operation, police managed to solve 12 cases, consisting of 7 motorcycle thefts, 4 vehicle thefts and a shop lot break-in case. Over in Malacca, a 41-year-old law firm employee claimed trial at the Ayakroh Magistrates Court on a charge of kicking his wife in the face earlier this month. The accused, Daniel Dallas Abdullah, pleaded not guilty after the charge against him was read by an interpreter in front of Magistrate Nabiha Muhammad Noor. According to the charge sheet, Daniel was accused of intentionally causing injury to his 41-year-old wife by kicking the victim in the face at their home at about 8 p.m. on July 4th. He was believed to have done the act out of jealousy. He was charged under Section 323 of the Penal Code, which carries a maximum sentence of 1 year imprisonment or a fine of 2,000 ringgit or both if convicted. The court allowed the accused to be released on bail of 4,500 ringgit with one surety pending the completion of the trial. The case is set for remention on September 20th. In Negeri Sembilan, a 46-year-old assistant education officer claimed trial at the Seremban Sessions Court to a charge of accepting a 2,000 ringgit bribe from an individual to approve claims for school security guards. Muhammad Fauzi Abdul, who works at the Port Dickson District Education Office, pleaded not guilty to the charge after it was read to him before Judge Rushan Lutfi Muhammad. He was accused of committing the offence at a bank in Lukut on November 16, 2017. The accused allegedly accepted the cash to approve claims for security guards in schools in the district for October 2017. He was charged under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act, where offenders can be jailed up to 20 years or fined 5 times the amount of the bribe involved or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher, upon conviction. The court set bail at 5,000 ringgit with one surety and ordered the accused to report to the Port Dickson MACC office before or on the 7th of every month. The case will be rementioned on August 30th. A finished skeleton of a Gorgosaurus dinosaur that roamed the Earth 77 million years ago was sold for $6.1 million at Sotheby's in New York, making it one of the most valuable dinosaur skeletons ever sold at auction. The skeleton, which measures nearly 10 feet tall and 22 feet long, was found in 2018 in the Judith River Formation in Montana. Visuals of the Gorgosaurus skeleton wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for your company and stay safe.